Today's top news headlines: UCM members stag protest at Kangla. And mass resignations of 48 Mau Assembly constituency members from NPA. Hello, good evening. You're watching Pony TV English News. I'm CHRISTINA, and now the news in detail. A large number of volunteers from the United Committee Manipuri UCM staged a protest demonstration near the southern Kangla Gate in Imphal today, protesting the Myanmar government's encroachment of Indian territory at the Manipur site in connection with the disputed borders pillars at which the Myanmar authority had shifted towards Indian territory in Manipur site. We have submitted memorandum to both the Chief Minister of Manipur N. Biren Singh and the Union Manipur Minister of State External Affairs R.K. Ranjan Singh. UCM President Joy Chandra told media. He stated that the Chief Minister and the Minister of State of External Affairs R.K. Ranjan had informed the UCM members that the issue will be brought to the attention of the Union government as soon as feasible. However, no action has been taken to resolve the issue of the disputed border pillar in Manipur. According to Joy Chandra, there are evidences of border pillars placed inside Indian territory at the Myanmar site. Further, he stated that border pillars are pushed 1 kilometer inside Indian territories at some point, and while at some places the border pillars are erected between 2 and 5 kilometers inside Indian territories. We have already outraged by the Indian government's handing over of Cabo Valley to Myanmar in exchange for Andaman and Nicobar Island, and we will not remain mute if more Manipur's territories are handed over to Myanmar, the UCM president said.
Wangang na chaloy ni ai do kibo wangang de gadi ai khoi miang gi ihok fa ma gadi ihok to gani mi ngasi lising ama tan lising ama punna na ba ai khoi chem chai adu hayeng na lising manga angchen na lising manga ai khoi chem chai ai ri thabuk sing ja khoi makha ta na series de chata gani lebang miang gi damang tani irei ba gi damang ai khoi si ba ki de ai khoi si gani aduga si gi border gi issue gi damang ta si gani hai bije mi paeng chana lei hai bije mi am na kau gi no aduga khoina ngasi tawjeri be thabak che policing gi su yauri lebak chida lei ba imai pa ahlaman lai guru khudimang loina yauri ba masidi support tawdana ai khoina tawri thabak chida isda against the left for gadi ai khoi madu yabang amoi lebak gi damak tani ai khoi tunggi isai chuna ai khoi tin chit kani he ai khoi mayam je tin chit na hona je ai khoi iram dang ngak che bane ai khoi iram dam sei sa ai khoi na lan taw ge bane ti manipur gi india gi manung da leina ai khoi iram dam gi border fencing je khabi hoy
48 Mau Assembly constituency in a press release declared mass resignation from Naga People's Front NPF by the office bearers and workers of NPF 48 Mau Assembly constituency Manipur. It further stated that Dr. Siho Jeli Lezitsu, President Naga People's Front NPF Central Headquarters Kohima, Nagaland on 22 March 2022, the NPF unit of Mau Assembly constituency had communicated their great discontent to the serious breach of principle by the party leaders and had earnestly urged their remedial measures to restore the faith and confidence of the people in the party. It also stated that they have mentioned with documentary evidence on the manipulative role of T.R. Jeliang, then leaders of NPF legislature party Nagaland, which was blunt violence of the party principles. But instead, their candidate L. Dikowa, who was publicly declared by the President NPF Central Headquarters as serial number 1 in the party seniority list in the Manipur State Unit and hence for a ministerial position, was first unceremoniously relegated to serial number 2, and to rub in more salt on the wound, he was further pushed out from the serial number 2 without any explanation. After waiting for a long there were no response from the NPF central leaders. Therefore, with great senses of sadness, the office bearers and workers of 48 Mau Assembly constituency under Senapati Division, Manipur declared their resignation from the Naga People's Front after being convinced that the party leadership is beyond correction. And as they continue in office without any serious introspection and amendments, realization has dawned upon them, and it would be fully to continue to be a members and functionaries of the party which they had served with faith and confidence, said in a press release. 44 Assam Rifles under the aegis of 22 Sector IGAR East organized indoor yoga session at Veteran Sandan in Tamenglong and also at its various outpost location in Tamenglong and Kangpokpi district under the theme of Yoga for Humanity. The participants were taught yoga asanas, pranayama and meditation, which are specifically designed for the monsoons, while giving us the added benefits of increased immunity. Apart from indoor yoga session, the battalion also organized yoga on iconic Tamenglong helipad opposite Rani Gaiden Liu open-air launch in the town. The event was part of unit's ongoing initiative as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. It was aimed to create awareness and inspire mass movement for health and well-being through yoga. During the indoor yoga session, live telecast of Prime Minister was also screened from the participants. Speaking on the occasion, the Commandant 44 Assam Rifles stressed on the importance of yoga. Narcotics and Affairs of Border nabbed Manipur in association with Laipam Kuno Youth Development Association LKYDA observed the 8th International Yoga Day at Ima Pantwibi Sanglen, Laipam Kuno today. The Superintendent of Police NAP addressed the participants on the harmful effects of drugs on a person, the families and the society as a whole, and appealed to avoid drugs and alcohol and to practice and promote yoga for healthy body and mind. As a part of International Yoga Day, 1st Manipur Rifles Commandant Dr. S. Ibomcha Singh, in collaboration with Art of Living Manipur, observed 8th International Day of Yoga 2022 at 1st MR Banquet Hall today. On the other hand, 2nd Battalion Manipur Rifles, in association with Manipur Yoga Sportsmanship Association, conducted International Day of Yoga in presence of ADGP Sri Asutosh Sinha and IGP Sri Nisit Agarwal. As heavy rains continue to last, the Barak Valley water levels across all rivers rose above dangerous level, causing flooding and inundation across Kasar district. On receipt of SOS calls from the district administration, Kasar Srikona Battalion of Assam Rifles under the aegis of Headquarter 21 Sector Assam Rifles and IGAR East launched flood rescue operations in general area of Rangir Khari in Silchar town of Assam. On arrival at the site, the column of 01 officer, 02 JCOS and 40 other ranks of the unit found the area inundated. Few riflewomen of unit, being local residents of Silchar town, guided the rescue force to the worst affected areas where a number of elderly persons, women and children stranded. Prioritizing women, the elderly, infirm and young children, the column carried out extensive rescue and relief operations, often at the peril of their own life while braving the forces of nature. The timely and swift action resulted in rescue of approximately 282 women, children, infirm, and approximately 1,500 civilians were evacuated, and a major humanitarian disaster being averted for the time being. The locals have appreciated the human service rendered by Assam Rifles. Let's take a short break. Stay tuned for more updates.
Lagliba July itang amadagi mga fauba Development Organization Andrew Kendra na sinduna pangtokadauriba taruksuba state level pineapple queen contest in lising company toy pangtokadali. Contest asigi prize oina crown winner da case oina lupa lakh ama, first runner up da lising yankai, second runner up da lising kuntra, subtitles kudimagda lising tara amadi, contestant kudimagda consolation prize su pigani. Contest asigi screening tawudaba numitna June litang kunitoy da under the Central National Park manakta laiba Chingoi Resort ta ayuk pung taramathoy taba matangda pangtokani. Yawiningwa singna Thambalu Market Complex Poiropat Langkhaidagi contest asigi form lobinga yagani. Form thazanbagi aroiba matamna June litang kunmathoi fawba oigani. Hena akopa moral khambiningba singna makhada piriba contact number asida paw fawbiru. Aikhoigi mobile number 700-577-9929 natraga 8730942355. Contest asida miyamna saruk yabiyu amadi mapung fahanbiyu.
Welcome after the break. CHRISTINA Battalion of Headquarter 21 Sector Assam Rifles under the aegis of Headquarter Inspector General Assam Rifles East celebrates 8th International Yoga Day in Kaimai village under Tausem subdivision of Tamenglong district today. CHRISTINA Battalion has been organizing various yoga awareness campaigns to spread awareness about yoga and as a prelude to Yoga Day. Finally organized a grand event and celebrated International Yoga Day with full of zeal and enthusiasm. During the event, yoga instructor also emphasized on importance of a holistic approach to a healthy lifestyle and an important role played by yoga in maintaining a balance between physical and mental fitness, reducing stress and preventing lifestyle diseases. The participants also performed various breathing exercises and yoga postures. Volunteers of Longmai Bazaar Youth Club Noni apprehended 3 IRB personnel reportedly posted in Longchum, Awangkul for using brown sugar. The club draws the attention of CM War on Drugs. A petition was filed in the Supreme Court on Monday challenging the center's Agnipat scheme, claiming that the government has overturned the century-old armed forces selection procedure in violation of constitutional norms and without parliamentary approval. The Agnipat scheme, which was unveiled on June 14, provides for the recruitment age between 17.5 to 21 for only 4 years, with the provision of retaining 25% of them for 15 more years. Protests have erupted in several states against the scheme. Later, the government extended the upper age limit to 23 years for recruitment in 2022. Advocate ML Sharma filed a petition in the Supreme Court stating that the June 14 notification or press note was illegal and unconstitutional. It alleged that on June 14, 2022, the center tinkered with the century-old army selection process and imposed the scheme for recruitment in all 3 armed forces divisions in violation of constitutional norms, without parliamentary approval and without any gazette notification. The petition also mentioned the national-wide protest against the scheme. A further appeal was filed in the top court last week, seeking for a direction to set up a special investigation team SIT to investigate damage to public properties, including railways and violent protests against the center's Agnipat scheme. The petition also requests that the center, as well as the governments of Uttar Pradesh, Telangana, Bihar, Haryana and Rajasthan, provide a status report on the violent protest. It has sought a direction to form an expert committee under the chairmanship of a retired Supreme Court judge to investigate the scheme and its impact on national security and the army. Different local clubs of Yaripok have threatened to close the road street from Yaripok Azad Lamkhai to Nongpok Kaithilmanbi if the concerned government fails to fix the terrible road by June 30. The decision to block the road came after a meeting of all the local clubs scattered along the Yaripok Azad Lamkhai to Nongpok Kaithilmanbi route, which was held at the Top Chingtha Youth Progressive Organization playground with Nongpok Ningtho Youth Association President Haikuzam Nabakishore Singh in the chair. Representative of TYPO, NNYA, LYCY, NYO, IYDO, CPC, SUDO, YNM, YVOC, YYPC, KIDO, NYSC, NTL, YC, and NKJC attended the meeting. Before we end up the bulletin, let's look to the headlines once again. UCM members stake protest at Kangla. And mass resignations of 48 Mau Assembly constituency members from NPF. That's the end of today's bulletin. Thank you for watching.